Nearly 2 months after being ripped from their homes and torn apart from their families, freed hostages are returning to completely different lives in Israel. Some of them are waiting for other family members to be released. Others are just learning for the first time that their loved ones were killed by Hamas. Clarissa Ward spoke with one father, Thomas Hand. You might remember him. He initially thought that his daughter had been killed. He was actually grateful for it because of what he imagined Hamas might do to her. Then he found out that she was alive. And now, 9-year-old Emily is home safe. And she is slowly sharing the details of what happened to her after she was kidnapped by Hamas on October 7th.
She said, "Yeah, she'll be here in a couple of minutes." I was like, "Wow, don't believe it." And all of a sudden, the door opened up and she just ran. It was beautiful, just like just like I imagined it, running together. I probably squeezed too hard.
It was a moment Thomas Hand thought would never come. Told his 9-year-old daughter Emily had been killed in the October 7th attacks, then that she was believed to be held hostage in Gaza. Finally, reunited with her family after 50 days in captivity, free but visibly haunted by her ordeal.
The most shocking, disturbing part of the meeting was she was just whispering. Couldn't hear her. I had to put my ear on her lips, like this close, and say, "What did you say?" And she goes, "I thought you were kidnapped."
She said, "I thought you were kidnapped."
She thought I was in captivity.
And what has she told you about what she's gone through?
I thought she was in the tunnels, but she wasn't in the tunnels. They were actually fleeing from house to house. She doesn't like it to be referred to as Gaza. She says the kufsa, the box. So you have to say, like, how long were you in the box? The kufsa. She said a year. So, apart from the whispering, that was like a punch in the guts.
There's that one photograph right after your reunion, and you're holding her, and there is this sort of seriousness to her facial expression.
Yeah, she's almost staring, isn't she? A little bit of a disconnect with everything going on around her.
Has she cried?
Oh, yeah. Last night, she cried until her face was red and blotchy. She couldn't stop. She didn't want any comfort. I guess she's forgotten how to be comforted. I just had to wait until she came out of it by herself. And she knows how to do that. She's a very determined little girl, very strong. I knew that her spirit would get her through it.
There have been glimpses of the old Emily, happily walking the family dog Johnsy. But many moments of pain, like when Thomas was forced to break the news to her that his ex-wife Narkis had been killed.
Does Emily understand what happened on October 7th?
Yeah. Unfortunately, she does. How do you tell her, your second mum is dead, killed, shot? When we got back to the hospital, I asked the psychiatrist, what do I do? What should I do? What should I do? She said, "You've just got to tell her straight. It's the best way." Okay. So yeah, that was very hard, because we told her, and her little eyes glazed up, and she just went, took a sharp intake of breath. Terrible thing to tell a child, but as they recommend that you have to close the book. It sounds cruel, but you have to stop that hope. So you you've got to stop that. It has to be final. Our kiss is dead.
And so, what is the next step now? How long do you stay here? How do you start a new life?
The future is obviously get Emily back to health, and we will do that along the way. But the next thing is along the way is that we have to get all the children, obviously, all the women, all the men, all the hostages have to come back. They have to be brought back.
Now, Jake, you heard Thomas talking about getting Emily back to health. Now, she is in good physical condition. There's no indication that she was physically abused in any way. She lost a lot of weight. She was very, very pale. She said that they didn't have enough to eat. But obviously, there is the psychological component here. The very fact that she was only able to whisper because she's so frightened of raising her voice. He said that the only word she appeared to learn in Arabic was the word for be quiet, which gives you an indication of the fear that she was living through. He also talked about how she has very bad head lice, but all things considered, she is in reasonably good health physically. And one other important thing, when he talks about bringing the hostages back, he's very focused at the moment on the mother of Emily's very good friend, Hilla. This is the girl he had gone to the play date with. She had gone to the play date with, spent the night with, was kidnapped with, was held with, along with Hilla's mother, Raya Rotem, who acted like a second mother to her. And then inexplicably, at the last minute, 2 days before they were due to be released, Raya was separated from Emily and Hilla. You can imagine Hilla was released with Emily, and the anguish that she is going through now, being separated from her mother. And this is a very important point for Thomas. He says going forward, we need to keep fighting for all the hostages, but particularly for Raya, and try to get to the bottom of why it was that she was separated from her daughter just ahead of their release.